Hello everyone, good evening. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. It's great to see everyone and thank you to the Shiro's entire team for giving me this opportunity to be a keynote speaker. So thank you for that introduction. As mentioned, you may know me as a model, a host. I'm a Filipina American that has dreamed of actually living in the Philippines. And I have been living and working here in Manila for a little under a year now. And some of you may know me as Miss Universe 2022. And that is one of my greatest achievements. I feel very blessed for that. But along those achievements, there is an even longer list of failures. And I think when we hear the word failure, negative emotions may come up. You may think failure, it's scary or it's disappointing even. You hear failure and you think, I don't want that. Nobody wants to fail. It doesn't feel good, am I right? Yes. But I have to tell you, you really can't win in life without so many more failures. The people I even look up to, the greatest successful people, they have failed so many times in life, so many more times in life than they have actually achieved. And the way I see failure is, I've tried to reframe my mind into thinking that failure is actually my friend just helping me along. When a door closes for me, it's not meant for me, and it opens a door for something else that is meant for me. So, I encourage all of you for Women's Month and anyone really in this room to not shy away from failure and use failure as your greatest teacher in life. I want to speak a little bit about my personal journey to Miss Universe. I see some lovely, beautiful Miss Universe Philippines candidates here. Y'all look gorgeous. So I'll talk a little bit about my journey. I am from Texas, so I won Miss Texas, Miss USA, and Miss Universe. And I think a lot of people don't know how I got to that point. My first pageant was in Texas. I had a small local. It was called Miss Kima. And how we do it, it was actually pandemic when I had my first pageant. And I had no idea what it was. When the opportunity was presented to me to do a pageant, I was quite focused on my sustainable design career. I was modeling, and I was already 26 years old. I was finished with college, and I was really focused on trying to make my brand evolve. And pageants were very foreign to me. I've seen Miss Universe and Miss USA on the TV, but I never thought I was one of those girls. And I had this intuition when the opportunity was presented to me that maybe I should take it. I felt God was telling me to. I actually got very emotional and started crying when I was presented with the opportunity. And I think we as women have this very special gift of this intuition telling us when we should do something in life. And it's something that's very powerful that we shouldn't ignore. So I had my first pageant. I received first runner-up. And so that was my first little failure. Obviously, we all want to win, but I thought, you know, it's my first pageant. I have a lot to learn. It hurt. As many of you know, when you don't win something or you don't get something that you want in the timing that you want it, it hurts. So I went back and I took that failure and I reevaluated what I could do better. And let me tell you, my question and answer, I completely froze on stage. So when they asked me my question and answer, I don't think there's a video of me out there, thank God, but it was extremely embarrassing. So my next pageant is Miss Houston. That's the city that I grew up in. For perspective, about 60 girls compete, so it's quite competitive. And so from my first failure, my first rejection, I said this will be my teacher. What can I do better? Definitely the Q&A. I need to work on the pasarela. Hair and makeup, I mean, you ladies know, it's a lot of work. There's so much to learn. So I went into Miss Houston, I felt a little bit more prepared. And I received first runner-up again. And when you're so close to winning and you don't, it hurts even more. That failure hurts. So I said, okay, I still have a little bit more time. time, I'm still gonna give this pageant thing a try because I actually like the challenge. Because before Miss Universe and pageants, I was very reserved and I had stage fright. And I believe that communication is one of our best assets. We need to be able to walk into a room and communicate what we're feeling. Don't be shy to speak up for yourself or say hi to somebody or take that chance. And I was quite a shy girl before my training for pageantry. So pageantry was a big blessing in disguise for me. So after first runner-up, then we have our state, that's Miss Texas. Basically, you have to win your state to have one chance to win the national Miss USA. So I said, I think I'm a little bit prepared now. I've felt the burn of the rejection and the failure. So let me go to Miss Texas. I'm going to work harder and harder and harder. So Miss Texas happens. I give it all I've got. I've trained so hard. As a designer, I made my outfits. I mean, speaking coaches, I worked with 5 because I told myself that's my weak point and I want to make it my strength. So I had a speaking coach that would develop me for personality. And then another one that's a news reporter to help develop my knowledge of current events and always test me. And then another one that's so technical and we would analyze. And I'm just sharing with you a little bit of my journey, but Miss Texas happens. For perspective, it's about 80 to 100 contestants, and I receive, I think this is my time, I received first runner-up. And at that point, my coaches told me I've aged out. So I am absolutely heartbroken. As you know, pageants can be quite expensive, so I said, not only have I aged out, but I'm done. I have no more money for this. And as a woman that is 26 years old, I want to go back, 26 years old, I want to go back to where I was as far as trying to push my fashion brand, my modeling career, and just focus on that. I said, I've had this opportunity to try pageants. I learned a lot. I really developed my speaking skills. I worked with women that really poured into me, but this one hurts. This first runner-up 3 times in a row really, really hurts. And I was so close and I aged out. Well, my coach actually, she had kind of lied to me. She made me believe that I aged out because she wanted me to work twice as hard. And after a month of me going through that recovery of being so hurt by that rejection and failure, she actually came up to me again and she said, you actually have one more chance to go to Miss Texas. Do you want to do it? I said, no, I don't want to do it. I feel like I've brought everything I can to the table, and I'm ready to close that chapter and get back to furthering my career. I was one of the older contestants, and I just felt like I should move on. But let me tell you, women in the room, your age does not matter at all. I started late, I was a late bloomer. It doesn't matter if you started early, it really doesn't matter. We're on our own timelines here and nobody else's. We try to compare and see somebody else arriving somewhere before us and we think, oh, we're late. But it's really only our timeline that matters and we have to stick to that. So after me giving it some thought, I'm thinking, should I do this Miss Texas again? I really don't feel like I fit in. For perspective, a Filipina American has never won Miss Texas before. So I was seeing girls that I really didn't I just felt different from them. So I thought maybe I just didn't fit the role of a Miss Texas that the judges wanted, that the legacy of Miss Texas had, and maybe it's just not for me. But when we're presented with an opportunity in life, and we're scared we're not going to get that win. I'm scared I'm going to go to Miss Texas again and not get that win. And it's embarrassing because I'm the first runner-up girl. Everybody knows me as that. And we're scared to embarrass ourselves or fail in front of all these people and let down these people that are counting on us. When something fears you the most, when something scares you the most, I think that's when you should lean into it the most. And I said, if I don't try this one more time, I will regret this for the rest of my life. I will regret not giving it my all. I will regret not going for it. And how can we go to the end of our life with regret of not putting ourselves out there? What do we really have to lose? Embarrassment? Full force trying? So I said, okay, I'm going for this Miss Texas thing. I'm going all out. I'm locked in. I moved my apartment closer to my workout trainer because that's a big thing for me. The mind, the body, and soul, I'm 100% there. I'm giving it my all. If it doesn't work out, that's really gonna be bad. That's really gonna suck. But let me try this Miss Texas one more time. I really only have one more year. So it's about a year of training. Miss Texas comes around, and thank God, I finally win Miss Texas. They call my name. Thank y'all. But every time I was rejected, man, that hurt so much because in our minds, we think we're ready. We think we're ready for that position at work. We think we're ready for that chapter. We think we worked harder than everybody else. And then life says, no, actually not. And you know what? It's really hard to beat somebody that never gives up, in life in general. And I thank God for my support system, for the women that poured into me, for the women that believed in me when I didn't. Community is everything, because they're the reason I'm here today. So 3 months later, Miss Texas, we have Miss USA, and thankfully, I'll just fast forward, I won Miss USA. But when I win Miss USA, I'm so excited, of course, because we only have one chance. I have a lawsuit. People said I rigged Miss USA, and that was all over the headlines, especially in the States. We have our major headlines. When you win a pageant, you do your media week. You talk about your win, your plans, your advocacy. You get to talk about you when you win. Well, all of my interview questions are me defending myself. We have a lawsuit going on because the contestants I competed against believed that I rigged the pageant, which I didn't. But when you have a platform on social media and you can say that, it catches wind. And basically what happened in the USA is some contestants thought I rigged it, it caught wind, major news outlets picked it up, and now my name as a public figure, my first opportunity to be a public figure feels tainted as the girl, not the girl that won Miss USA, but the first Filipino American that won Miss USA, but she rigged it. So my team, my Miss USA team gets taken away. You're supposed to live in an apartment in LA. I was so excited about that. That gets taken away. So and then we have lawyers come to my house. They go through my phone. They go through my computer. They're trying to find any evidence of me rigging this because they want to do their due diligence. I said, okay, let's hire lawyers. You can check anything from my phone or computer. You won't find anything. And if we do it that way, maybe people will believe that I didn't rig it. And this whole time, I'm so depressed because I worked so hard to become Miss USA, and then everybody thinks you cheated your way to the top, and that's a defamation to your name. And I felt like this is the biggest slap in the face of it all. This is the biggest rejection of it all. How will I even have a chance at Miss Universe? Everybody who has never even met me hears my name and they think, I kind of like her, but she probably cheated, so I don't really like her. And I read that headline and she probably cheated. We read headlines and we just assume they're true. So, by the way, they're not always true. Long story short, the lawyers didn't see anything. I get cleared to go compete at Miss Universe a couple weeks before the actual pageant. They said, we didn't find anything, and you're good to go. I said, great, because this whole time I've still been training. I've been depressed, nobody believes in me, but I have my small team that knows the truth, and we're gonna show up to Miss Universe no matter what. I told myself, I owe it to myself to be the best version of myself. No matter if people believe me or not, no matter if I have a support system or not, we owe it to ourselves to give ourselves the very best. When it gets tough, when you feel like people have left your side, you still owe it to yourself to give 100% every single time. And that really hurt going through all that. But let me tell you, I thank God for that strength that he gave me to go to Miss Universe as prepared as possible. He still gave me that motivation. I had 3 months. He gave me that motivation to go compete at Miss Universe, and thankfully the outcome was really amazing. Thank you. So I just say that because failure was actually my biggest ally. It was my greatest teacher. That rejection, the more it hurt, the more it taught me to keep going and going. And a lot of us in this room might be going through something right now that has been lasting a long time, or maybe something happened earlier this week, and it makes you want to give up on that end prize or that end goal. And let me tell you, it's not worth it. It's a distraction, and failure tries to trick us into thinking that we can't achieve what we've set out to achieve. And if you don't let failure be your enemy, but you allow failure to be your friend, to help you along, to become stronger, to be more knowledgeable, and you never give up, that is when you will get what you've set out to be. That is when you get what you deserve. So I want to ask everybody in the room, what part of failure is holding you back? Is it the fear of failing at a new job, maybe? Or the fear of failing and your friends and family say, I told you so, that wouldn't work out? Or the fear that you might fail at asking for a new promotion at work? The business owners of here, you fear that new product won't actually sell. The thing is, we'll never know until we try. And we always have to just be our biggest cheerleader. Surround ourselves with people that believe in us. I can't stress that enough. I have down days all the time, and that's when my friends, my family, my mentors, they pick me up and they remind me who I am. We need that support system, especially, I'm saying that because it's Women's Month. There are some beautiful, amazing, accomplished women in this room, men as well. And I think we just need to protect our energy and make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with people that believe in us and women and men that we believe in as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, I was actually very, very nervous coming up here. I did not feel very good this morning physically, and I was so stressed about being able to connect with the audience, and I thought, oh my gosh, if I embarrass myself, this is not going to be good. But I agreed to do this because I wanted to put myself out there again. I haven't spoke in front of a crowd or done public speaking since I was Miss Universe, actually. Because I've honestly just not felt the confidence to do it. And you know what? I could continue for 1 or 2 more years, 5 years, feeling like I don't know what I'll talk about now because I don't have the crown anymore. What will people want to hear from me? But the thing is, we can wait our whole life, and it's not the perfect time to go after what we want. I know that I still want to be able to speak to crowds and be a public speaker. So I thank Shiro Summit for giving me this opportunity to get back out here and speak again. Thank you.